Let's do this. Let's get her done. Skater.
Let them fight. Welcome to the JockStrap Nerd Chat podcast. Woo!
Flew
Look
right
at that.
off your tongue.
Look at that beautiful banner we got going
Where is
on.
it?
Oh,
I mean, right here.
can't you see it?
Something like that.
It looks so nice.
Yeah. Got this bad boy. So we have officially gone from making no money to losing even more.
We're in the hole pretty solid right now.
Solid hundreds of dollars.
Between these mics and this logo and the monies we keep giving away, fuck, it might be years before we turn a profit.
But it's not the money that matters. It's you guys that matter. It's you guys the reason that we do this. We do this because it's
Matters a
fun.
little.
And, well, we really do this because it strokes my ego. I like seeing myself on the computer, on my phone.
Yeah, it's okay.
I like seeing myself in the podcast app.
That is kind of cool.
I'm like, oh, hey, me and Joe Rogan hanging out right next to each other.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. As always, I am your best friend, Justin, your guide, if you will, your spirit animal. To my right, we have Chris Berrigan. How you doing today, buddy?
Pretty good, guys. It's going to be nice. We're going to get this podcast knocked out before midnight.
I know. We're
First time for
recording
everything.
Early. And to my left, Joel. How
What
are you?
up? I'm doing well. I am actually doing really fantastic. Just came back from a ski vacation and
A skication?
boardcation, more like it,
Yeah.
A boardcation?
Shredcation.
but shredcation.
Just shred
And
I don't know if anybody's realized, but those Rocky Mountains are shredded down to fucking nubs right now.
yep, they're almost gone.
John Denver was full of shit.
So sunshine on my goddamn face, John Denver.
That was 2 days ago we went on that, and I think today I officially don't feel hungover.
Well, between having to take Simpson to the airport and get up at 6 a.m. after maybe 3 hours of sleep, and then having to get up at 3 a.m. yesterday morning, I'm in that boat too. I just got like 8 hours of sleep for the first time in a week and a half.
That's awesome.
But yeah, anyway, one of my favorite things about that vacation had nothing to do with where we were, but what we were enjoying, which was
What were you enjoying?
NFL draft.
What?
One of my favorite sporting events of the year because of exactly what was happening in round one.
Yeah, this was like a perfect example of why this is so fun to watch. This first round was
Yeah,
It was-
you only had to wait for one pick for something ridiculous
to
to
just
happen.
go bananas.
I'm actually legitimately jealous that I didn't sit down and get a chance to watch it. I was busy, making money
well,
and working.
You're trying to be a Bears fan.
Well-
You should be glad you didn't watch the first couple weeks because they
Well-
got railed.
I never really thought about the NFL draft as like a really fun thing, and then I watched, I got to see snippets of it, and I got to see like things, and like they moved it to Pittsburgh for the first time. Is that
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Well,
sorry.
it used to be in Radio City Music Hall in New York City for every single year up
Yeah.
until 2 years ago. I think they moved it to Chicago for the first time, and then this year was Philly.
Didn't they
And-
do it because it makes it more affordable for people to actually go?
Well, I think it's more that like it's an event that everyone loves because about this time of year,
Yeah,
everyone's
that's-
getting really anxious for more football, and this is the last football event before the preseason, and so people. Basically, the NFL decided to take it on the road, and every year it's a new city now.
which is really a cool thing.
It's 17,000 people come to watch the draft.
Like
It's crazy.
I had to kind of catch up on everything with listening to Colin Cowherd, and he broke it down in the sense that NFL is broke down into two seasons. You have your regular season to the Super Bowl, excuse me, and then you have from the Super Bowl to the preseason. And there's a lot of things that go on in that time frame, but there's not a lot of time for people to really get excited. But the draft really is that moment that you can really go crazy with it, and it kind of gave me like a respect for it that I didn't have before. And I'm really excited for a year from now to sit down and watch the whole draft.
Yeah, it's great. It's great because people, like I said, they're team, unless you're one out of 32 teams wins the Super Bowl, so everyone else is disappointed. So, but during the off season, once free agency starts and once the draft comes around, people really get to start to see the improvements or the shortcomings of their team and
Shortcomings of that front office
like
too. If they make
if
bad
they
decisions.
lose good players or if they gain them through free agency, and then how they draft and everything. It's just a very exciting time because every team comes out a little bit better usually from the draft, even if they give up a lot.
It's a
Yeah,
really
it's never
strategic.
gonna like take a shit team to number one, but it can be start the building
Well,
blocks.
for teams like the Cleveland Browns that have been perennially in the top 5 of the draft because they're just not that good,
Can't make a good choice.
It's really about like hope for your team. Like that's the reason that the worst teams go first is because they get the chance to get the best players if they make the right choices and move up.
Hopefully dig out of that hole they've dug themselves into.
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs are now a playoff team, and they won the AFC West last year. But just 4 years ago, they were the number 1 overall pick. They were the worst team in the league.
Would you say that the rags to riches of that, metaphorically speaking, would you attribute that most to like good drafting, or would you say that it would be more towards like who they got in free agency and things like that?
Well, they made a trade to get Alex Smith, and that was the biggest thing for them.
We finally had a competent quarterback, which we hadn't had.
Yeah. But
Wow.
honestly, it's the drafting, in my opinion, because it's more the late round drafting than the early stuff because you expect first round draft picks to turn into really good starters. But they got guys like Tyreek Hill, who was a 5th round draft pick, who was an all-star or a Pro Bowler this year. And they've gotten guys like
Justin Houston, who
Justin
should
Houston
have been
in the
picked
3rd round.
Should have been a top 10 pick.
Yeah, but he got picked in the 3rd. I mean, even Marcus Peters probably should have been a top 5 guy that dropped down to like 18 where they got him. And it's mainly value and having those late round guys turn into like really good players because if you can accumulate a lot of that, and I attribute a lot of that to John Dorsey, the Chiefs GM, because he knows talent. I mean, they drafted so well in Green Bay for so long. That's why they've been good for so long.
Yeah, a lot of teams, their future in the draft is going to be predicated off of their front office and how much time they actually put into researching all the players and making sure they make the right trades. Or like, I think it's just as important free agency too. If you're willing to make some moves to go get a player that you know does well, besides just banking on the draft. Because the draft's never you're never gonna win just banking on draft picks.
And the Chiefs to get Alex Smith, they traded that year's 2nd round draft pick and the next year's 2nd round draft pick to do it. So like draft picks become kind of intermingled with free agency when it comes to that. Even though he wasn't a free agent, he was on like the last year of his contract. But it's the whole offseason is just so cool like that. And getting into the actual draft, though, I mean, the number 1 pick was really the only pick that everyone called. Everyone was like, "Yep, it's Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett's going to be the guy." There's really Myles Garrett is that top tier talent, and everyone else is a notch below or
The
or
Browns
lower.
surprisingly waited like a while to pick it though. It's almost like they were thinking about taking somebody else for a little bit.
Yeah,
I thought the time would start.
I think it's
hitting
more
their-
that they were just like they were
you
still
kind of want to make
fielding.
people sweat it too. 'Cause
Well, they were fielding deals, and like especially when you're on the clock, like people are making. You have a whole room of people making phone calls to other teams saying, "Hey, are you interested in moving up here? What would you be willing to give me to move up to this spot?"
or,
really stupid question. Was the movie Draft Day anything like how it goes down?
From what I've read, it's similar. It's it's
No,
really high
it was
pressure.
it was a very cool like cinematic view of the draft, and I mean
much
nothing
more-
as ridiculous as what happened in draft
Yeah.
day ever usually happens.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of things going on, for that. I mean, what is it? The first day is what, 6 hours?
Probably about. I mean, it's the
They
first
started
day is
at
only the
6
it's only
and
the
it
first
ended-
round.
It
it's
started
only
at
the
6
first
and it
round.
ended at
Yeah, it used to be.
9:30.
The first day used to be like first, second, and third, and they only split it between 2 days.
Yeah.
But now they do the first round one day, second and third another, and then the rest.
Speaking of draft day, though, because normally it doesn't work like that. You don't get a fairy tale ending. But moving on to the second pick, that kind of was probably very similar to what
I mean, it wasn't as
like.
bad as draft
Yeah.
day. They gave up like 3 first round picks to do that in that movie, but yeah, the
Closest you're going to get to real
the
life.
Bears were picking third, moved up 1 spot, and gave up like I think 3 or 4 picks.
They gave
later in the
away-
draft
For
to
Somebody
do
that
it.
didn't need it. Like,
Yeah.
that would have been there.
Well, yeah, I think, and this is my total hypothesis
Real quick,
on this.
let's
Go
announce
ahead.
that they traded away to move up 1 spot their 3rd round pick, their 4th round pick, and their 1st round pick the following year.
Yeah, to move up.
So they have
One
how many
spot.
picks next year? Like 3 left.
Well, they
Well, they
still
took
have
3rd and 4th this year, and then their 1st next year. So they gave away their
okay.
1st round next year.
which is
but
a
that's-
lot for a team that needs a lot, and so that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, that's didn't help.
quarterback that
But they
I've
literally
never
moved
even
up
seen play.
one spot, and this is my theory on what happened is John Lynch called them up, knowing that they wanted Mitch Trubisky at 3. It was like, so we're gonna take Mitch Trubisky at 3 unless you give us a lot, and if you really want him,
and they're like, well, fuck.
and I guarantee you, John Lynch was going to take Solomon Thomas the whole time, which he took at 3.
Yeah.
So they gave up that much to move up literally one spot to have the right to
take a
draft
quarterback
Mitch.
There's
who's
got to be a
played
certain amount of like just you.
Yeah, a
fucking
quarterback
with
who's
other
played
people.
13 games in his
college
career.
football. 13.
And didn't even play well.
I mean, he was all right.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of talent, but
Not third round pick potential to trade away
Third
that
overall.
much just to
The
get
2017 season is not a good season to be.
But
you know what I actually
did?
did? I actually did hear about so that Mike Glennon deal that was like a $45 million deal that he signed, but actually only like $3.5 million of it is guaranteed money.
19 million.
I've seen. Maybe I read the wrong thing, but
Yeah,
I was listening to. Maybe they just over exaggerated.
Yeah, maybe
what
you
I was
did.
I was listening to like
Maybe you
Mel
did.
Kiper and Todd McShay, and they
Yeah,
were
they
talking
were-
about it. But I think it was just like they were over exaggerating.
Yeah, it's 19 million guaranteed. So,
So
I
it's
mean,
actually not that huge, but that's 19 million over the duration of the contract,
Yeah.
and they only gets to 45 if he hits incentives. But yeah. Anyway, so I mean, San Francisco got the guy that won it all along, and
I think you're right though. I think they just kind of twisted their arm and like either you give us a bunch of shit or we're gonna take him.
Yeah.
Even though, like you said, in the back of their minds, I don't think they were gonna ever take him.
Yeah, it would have put them in a bad spot. They wouldn't have. I mean, they probably had like entire like lists centered around this one guy going. I mean, there's a lot of fuckery going on.
yeah, and
in,
then
in this draft, at least from the outside. in.
San Francisco
it's,
bluffed.
It's all
and-
negotiations, man.
Yeah, I think San Francisco bluffed, and the Bears.
The Bears were like, "Well, fuck. If we really want to bank on this guy for the future, then this is what we have to do." And
I heard San Francisco ended up getting like a lot of people were saying that they got like the most underrated.
I think
got
John
draft.
Lynch.
they just got a great draft overall.
Yeah.
Lynch deserves the MVP
I was
of the
gonna
draft.
say that they were my favorite. They were my favorite team in this draft, just the way they did it.
I heard San Francisco was underrated, and then I heard that Tampa Bay really just cleaned up house.
Tampa Bay got a lot of great value picks.
They got a lot of value picks,
most people
yeah.
were taking OJ Howard with between like 5 and 10, and they got him at 19, which is just it's a huge talent. That the tight end out of Alabama, and
Yeah, he should have been a top 5, top 10 talent. He dropped. That's a great value for where he should have been picked.
yeah, and they did really well. Now Jacksonville got Leonard Fournette, and actually that was not a surprise. I mean, T.J. Yeldon had a really good first year. Kind of petered off last year.
Kind of been injury prone too.
But it's not. I really don't think it's T.J. Yeldon's fault. They need linemen. They need someone to block, and that's what. But they're hoping Leonard Fournette could be that horse for him.
Well, he's a monster of a man. He's 6 foot, 230, 240 pounds.
Yeah,
He's a big guy.
He's gigantic.
He'd be harder to take down than Yeldon. So even with a subpar line, he should do at least decent.
And then we have Tennessee Titans got Corey Davis. That was a good pick. That was a value pick that they needed. A lot of people had OJ Howard going there, but they went wide receiver, and that really doesn't
I think it's because I think there was rumors that they were going to get rid of Delaney Walker, and that may have been why they didn't pick up Howard.
Yeah, maybe they just decided to stay that way.
But that's good though. That's really nice for Mariota once he comes back healthy. I mean, he's shown that he can be the future of that team, and he's
Yeah.
give
I
him
hated
another
that
weapon.
guy when he was in college. I hated him.
And
He
Jamal
was really
Adams
good.
going at 6 was actually probably one of the better values because most people had him as the second rated guy in this draft.
Wasn't that massive safety?
Yeah, from LSU.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's a beast.
He is a beast.
Sue.
And I think the New York Jets were just fucking pumped when he just dropped to them because the other teams just didn't need a safety right now. It was
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of when Eric Berry dropped to 5 for the Chiefs when they were picking that year.
And that's one of those things that you can kind of refer to with this entire draft where it seems like people got almost what they wanted at later picks because the people in front of them didn't need it.
Yeah.
Besides the Bears.
Yeah. LA gets Mike Williams. That's a good pick for them. They need that offense. I mean, it's kind of not a surprise at all. And then Carolina Panthers with Christian McCaffrey.
My boy Christian McCaffrey.
That I think was a great pick for the Panthers.
Most people had them taking him, so it was also not
I think
that
that's
big of a
that's
surprise.
big,
but it's
big, like He's gonna mesh really well.
Yeah, and they need a guy like that on their offense, and he'll be a do everything kind of guy for them, and I think it'll be a great fit
it's
for
odd
Cam
is
Newton.
something that I've heard is like he's kind of referred to him as like a little scat back. It's like not really though. He's almost 6 feet tall and he's like 215 pounds. He's a fairly
He's a
big
normal-
guy. Yeah.
It's more that he's that size and he plays like a scat back. Like
No, it's because he's that size and he's white. That's why they do that.
honky,
please.
But I'm a big advocate for him. I like him. I've watched a lot of his drills and stuff. The guy looks amazing.
Yeah, one of the biggest surprises was John Ross at 9. I mean, it's a fit.
Oh yeah, that was
It's
early.
a fit for Cincinnati, but like, yeah, most people had him like around the start of the second round.
Like
I
a
mean,
late first
He is
round.
the fastest combine guy of all time. So
Really?
yeah, he broke the record this year. Is a 4.2240.
But
Was that the one that had to do with like an island or something?
No.
No. Okay, never mind. Scratch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was the guy.
Yeah, but
Like,
the problem was he
He didn't wear the right shoes or something.
I think if he was wearing Adidas and he would have done that, they made some deal
They
that
would give him
they'd give you a
boat
private
or
island.
private island or something.
Oh,
like that.
really?
Yeah,
I
like
didn't know that.
if you're wearing their shoes while you
he
ran
was like,
the fastest
"Nah,
40 of all
your
time,
shoes
but he
suck."
wore yeah, and he wore Nikes.
That's funny.
And he hit the threshold that you needed to get, like, and
No, you
blew
had to-
past it.
Yeah, well, he beat it by 1/100th of a second, but
I don't know.
it was still the fastest of all time. And it was like, damn, you could have just started your NFL career off with a private island before you even.
They
had
better
a
hope
team.
that works out though. It's like just because he's that fast doesn't mean he's going to pan out.
When he
real well.
said it, he was like, I don't have a boat. That's literally what he said. When they're like, if you just put the shoes on, he's like, I don't have a boat.
That's a great response, actually.
Well, now he can buy one now.
Yeah. And probably the pick that's closest to our hearts is the Kansas City Chiefs made a huge jump up from 27 to 10, and in doing so gave up their third
and fourth round.
rounder. No, it was just the third rounder this year and the first rounder next year. They traded their fourth one later for a different pick.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, it was a third round pick this year and their number 1 pick next year. And
For somebody who could potentially be a franchise quarterback, he's got all the weapons and all the
Yeah,
talent to do
Somebody
it.
that the Bears could have picked up, but no.
yeah, but
They picked up a guy
I
who's
honestly
played 13 goddamn games.
I think Pat Mahomes is a very talented guy, and the more I look into him and the more I watch stuff on him, I'm very excited about the potential. But he better be a franchise quarterback for what they gave up, because that can cripple them in the long run if he doesn't pan out. And you guys should go check out our videos that we have saved on Facebook, because we had a little live stream once they traded up.
You could see our
And,
initial reactions were not so positive.
I was 100% certain they traded up to get Reuben Foster, who I think is like the closest thing to a sure thing at linebacker in this year's draft,
which is something we heavily needed.
yeah.
The biggest thing here that I see from the outside looking in is he does not have a franchise quarterback name. He doesn't have a Rivers. He doesn't have.
He's got Mahomes.
He doesn't have.
Pat Mahomes, baby.
No, he's. Hey, look at Pat Mahomes over there. Mahomesless.
Only if he sucks.
I think it's cool, man. And it's the second. He's the second. His dad
I
also.
dad was a
fucking hate that
MLB
he's the
player.
second. I fucking hate that he's the second, because I think it's dumb when people put the second after a name. It's not the second. It's junior. You get to a third generation, then you get to put the third. That makes sense. But anyway, besides that, I actually do like his talent, and I think he could be. I think it's a perfect situation for that quarterback. I just wish we would have got him at 27 instead of have to move up to 10. But it sounded like New Orleans really liked him to learn under Drew Brees,
And so did Houston.
Houston and Arizona also liked him and New Orleans is picking 11, Arizona's picking 13, so the Chiefs had to make a move if they wanted to get him. So I like that they did something for once, like to actually go get the talent. I do hate that Reuben Foster dropped to like number 30, so the Chiefs could have picked him at 27 and gotten this super badass linebacker, but whatever.
But we'll see. We have a franchise quarterback, and we're going to be awesome for years.
Other notable picks.
Allegedly.
I mean, Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback to New Orleans. It's a good pick. Texans traded up to get Deshaun Watson. Probably the closest thing to a sure thing at starter for day one out of rookie quarterbacks. I think he can be a plug and play type of guy, and I really like his talent too. But that's not what the Chiefs were looking for. They were looking for someone super talented that they can train, because all of his shortcomings are
Fixable.
All of his shortcomings are things you can train, and his talent is out of this world.
Well, they've shown too, like what Reed has done when he has quarterbacks like that. I mean, he was at Green Bay when Favre was there. You saw what he did with McNabb. You saw what he did with Vic. All players that have really similar skill sets to what Mahomes has, and he's been there to help mold them. So
Yeah,
I mean, the guy can throw 65 yards on his knees.
Only time Nick Foles, the only time Nick Foles was good was when Andy Reid was his coach, and
Hold your tongue, son. He was great in college.
Great. I'm talking NFL, obviously. Are we talking about college?
Well, you said
Practice?
You said
We talking
the
about
only time he
practice?
was ever good.
Practice, man. Who we got next on the board?
Hanson. Hassan, yeah, you're right.
Hassan Reddick or Reddick, depending on how you read it.
Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad pick. They needed a little bit of help.
Cardinals wanted a quarterback, and then the three quarterbacks that they wanted were just gone by the time they get to him. So they actually got probably one of the best talents there because there was so much quarterback reaching going on.
Philly took who they
Derek
got?
Barnett, D end from Tennessee, solid pick. Malik Hooker, safety for Indianapolis, was also a solid pick. That Ohio State had 3 guys in their secondary go in the first round, which was pretty crazy.
That's a good pick for Indianapolis too, because a lot of times where they got tore up last year in the secondary was in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and I think it's a good pick, but I also think they need a line to keep Andrew Luck alive, so that kind of sucks that they didn't. But they would have been a reach to take a lineman at 15. I mean, only like a 5-pick reach, but still a reach. Marlon Humphrey, cornerback, Alabama.
And then here comes number 17. I think this was probably one of the best picks of the draft.
Value pick right here. Yeah, number 17, Washington takes Jonathan Allen, DN from Alabama, and honestly, he should have been gone by probably 6, maybe.
Yeah, here's another one of those like top 5.
That's another one that we talked about last week, and we didn't get very deep. So
No, but that's another
we
one
talked
that
about
should have been taken number 5, like top 5, top 10 at the latest, and dropping to 17. I mean, Washington. I mean, they knew right away like we're taking this guy.
They needed a lineman, and he's probably number 3 talent wise in this draft, or probably number 2 talent wise when it comes to pass rushing. Number 3 overall, which is why, or behind Solomon Thomas, and to get him at 17 is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was at this point I was like, this is the steal of the draft so far. I can't believe we dropped that far.
Yeah, and that's
OJ Howard, huge win for Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
at
second
19.
biggest steal behind Jonathan Allen. OJ Howard, Garrett Bowles for the Denver Broncos.
Stupid pick.
No, I think it's smart. They need he's the best lineman in the draft. They need a lineman.
Yeah, but like if you actually read
their
a lot,
line's so fucking terrible.
if you
in
read a
Denver.
lot of their stuff though, like he has like shorter arms, he's not that strong, and he's also old. He's 25.
Yeah, but he'll be a plug and play left tackle from day one. So I mean, he'll.
Who's
You
going into the
can't
NFL
fault
at
him for
25?
taking.
That's crazy.
I think he had a kid and like it delayed his time when he was in college.
He
But
also was
Oh
like
no, he's Utah. He's a Mormon guy.
maybe
that guy's window in the NFL is small.
We got Miami taking Charles Harris, D end outside linebacker from Missouri. That
This
was
is a really deep defensive line.
Yeah. Charles
draft.
Harris is actually one of the better pass rushers in coming out of the combine. He's very talented. It was really, really cool to see them get him. New York Giants get Evan Ingram. Honestly, he'll be like a plug and play dude for them. They need a tight end so bad for Eli Manning, and I think they got their guy.
Well, they had one. Didn't that O'Donnell kid do pretty well last year?
He did all right, but Evan Ingram's way more talented,
Yeah.
and so I think that's becoming more and more of a commodity in the NFL these days. Just having a super talented tight end.
This is where I could not believe that the Raiders did not take.
I thought the Raiders were taking Reuben Foster.
Yeah, I thought they were
for
going to take
sure.
him. If
And
they
I was
would have
going to
taken
be
him,
so mad.
Because Chiefs wouldn't be able to run anymore.
To see the guy I wanted so bad to be taken by the team I hate so much, that would have been the worst. Have to see him twice a year. He's just going to shut down everyone. Jabril Peppers.
This is really another really good pick by the Browns. This is probably the best draft the Browns have had in a long time.
Jabril Peppers for the Browns. He was their
So
second
are
first
we
round.
saying that the Browns pick number 2 next year?
No,
Maybe.
they'd be a lot more competitive because their defense wasn't awful last year, but
Yeah.
they've addressed the problems with the picks so far.
Oh, my favorite name of the draft, Taco Carlton, goes to the Dallas Cowboys. That reminded me of the Key and Peele skit. As soon as I saw his name, it's like Taco Carlton, Michigan.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a great name.
This is another good pick by
David
the Browns.
Njoku, the number 3 tight end to go in the first round, and goes to the Browns. Yeah, they needed it. And T.J. Watt, linebacker to the Steelers.
Got a good name.
Yeah. And San Francisco 49ers get Reuben Foster. This is why I fucking love them. They got 2 top 5 talents in 31 picks, and that is just those are 2 day one starters on your defense, and and at least 1 all-star in my opinion.
Well, and that pick by the
Pro Bowler.
49ers and these picks by the Browns up to this point, and then even going through the rest of the draft, we're obviously not going to go through the rest of it, but I'd say the Browns probably had the best draft as far as just picking like the players they really needed and players that have the talent. But the Niners, I think, got by far the best value out of their picks.
Yeah, and then they definitely did. I agree with you.
And they got extra
they
picks
accumulated
next year.
more picks.
They're setting themselves up to finally kind of
John
be
Lynch
relevant
is
again.
just being awesome in his first year. Let's see. New Orleans Saints take a tackle with Ryan Ramczyk. Solid pick.
Are we going beyond round 1? Are we going beyond round 1?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can even cut it on. But yeah, right. That was the pick that they traded away. What's his face, Brandon Cooks for to the Patriots, and Patriots basically drafted Brandon Cooks 3 years later with that pick. So that was a pretty solid draft pick, Patriots.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think my favorite team, we've already discussed it, San Francisco for sure. Least favorite move of the draft was moving up 1 spot and giving up 3 picks to do it. And
whoever made the decision for the Bears is going to look like a genius if he works out.
Yeah, if Mitch Trubisky does, I really don't think he will, but
don't think he will either.
He's going to be football Jesus, I tell you.
No, that's Pat Mahomes. Sorry.
It's not Pat Mahomes. Mahomes is not a.
Have you seen that horse mane of hair he has?
It's not a football name.
Sounding like Texas Kermit the Frog up there.
He does.
Yeah, you see his interviews. He's got like that southern accent. He's kind of talks like this.
Yeah, does sound like him with the front.
But he is actually a smart guy. I think though. I don't know. I have hope. I'm not going to say I think he'll be the best quarterback of all time, but
I will.
He'll definitely be the best quarterback of all time.
Yep, straight-faced. We're winning a Super Bowl with him.
All right.
I'll take that long bet. I will take that long bet.
On.
That's our thought on the draft, and we probably won't be talking about NFL football for at least like 4 months now. But yeah, moving on. We had some recent news in recent weeks that we are officially getting a 3rd installment to the Unbreakable trilogy. There was only 17 years between the first 2.
Real fast.
It's nice. It's nice.
Spoiler alert. Just letting you all know now.
Yeah, it's not spoiling the news, but more spoiling that we're going to be talking about the Unbreakable trilogy.
Which, if you haven't watched Unbreakable by this point,
well, it's not that.
That's what
it's just the people that had no idea about.
Yeah, because it was a surprise that the 2nd installment was even part of that.
As of right now, if you didn't turn away,
until people saw it, they were like, it was the first time people got legitimately Shyamalama ding donged in a while.
yeah, like it's been a
dude.
while since we got Shyamalans.
that exploded my face right off when I saw that.
I know. I was downstairs and I was like freaking the fuck out. Mindy was looking at me like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "It's Bruce Willis. It's Unbreakable 2. It's Unbreakable 2."
Yeah,
It's like, what are you talking
It turned
about?
from on a dime split. Turned from a
subpar
Well,
movie
no.
to amazing.
I thought
there was nothing about the movie that was subpar.
Well, no. I thought
no. It turned. I was gonna say it turned from a
I'll defend my
like a
subpar in a
thriller.
moment.
It turned from like a horror thriller into a supervillain origin story, and that I thought was like the coolest thing about that twist at the end. And
They did it so nonchalant too, and they were
Yeah.
like, "What was that guy's name?"
Mr. Glass. Well, and if you notice, like the music that started coming in at the end there was straight.
I think I
didn't realize.
I must have remembered it because I was like, "Oh my
started
god, I know
feeling
what's
it.
happening."
Yeah, the music that was straight off Unbreakable, and it was the same score, and it just started fading in at the end, and you're just like, I was like, what is it? Why did I know that?
Yeah.
what's happening?
But let me justify when I said that it was kind of a letdown at first because throughout the movie, like it's leading you to think that it's one thing this whole way, that it's really just this crazy guy, and then all of a sudden he's like climbing on walls and stuff. I was like that's kind of ridiculous. But then when you realize that it's not in setting itself in a real world, it's setting itself inside this new superhero world
Where there's already an established
it makes,
superhuman.
Yeah, exactly. It makes
Yeah.
it okay.
I thought it made it awesome, but I mean, I always like when people take creative concepts to get to things like superpowers because it's like a very derivative thing overall. Like everyone's done it. Everyone's done superhero origin stories, and super villain for that matter. But to take the concept that like it's every single personality within a person can actually have its own physicality based on like how the brain changes the biology, it's pretty fantastic. Like there was the one who had diabetes and the rest of them didn't, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They had the story of a blind person that had DID and some of their personalities could have vision. I mean, stuff like that. It's a cool way. I think Shyamalan actually took a little bit of time to like think of that, and honestly, it said that didn't he have like he wanted that to be a character in his original.
Yeah, he was in the original screenplay for Unbreakable, but
they had to cut the character out.
Work it in, yeah.
Because I think he wanted to develop it more.
17 years later, with a totally different production company and everything, which that's the cool thing about M. Night Shyamalan is he owns all of his characters.
Yeah, so it didn't matter that they changed production companies. He just had to sell it to somebody and they can keep the universe going.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
What were your favorite things about? Like I remember Unbreakable came out I think in 1999, and I'm pretty sure I would have been 11 years old at the time.
I want to say it was 2000.
I was 11 or 12 when it came
I was
out.
very old.
And that was way before superhero movies were a thing, you know.
I mean, it was fresh on the heels of like X-Men.
Yeah,
and
I think that's how he got it sold.
About it, like Blade came out
and
before
X-Men.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it was the first time you're like, oh man, this is what it would really be like if it was the real world. This is so cool.
Yeah, because it was just like your average Joe guy, just a dude.
He's just a dude who hates his job.
I think even though they didn't get picked up for a sequel, it really inspired a lot of the superhero origin stories we got after that because people started making things more realistic, like putting it in a more realistic world because they saw how much people liked
and developing the characters because that's something they did really well. Is like, I mean, at the surface, he just looks like a dude who's just pissed off all the time. You know, hates his life, hates his wife.
Yeah.
Did he ever take that poncho off?
Yeah, he was inside.
That was kind of his superhero.
I was gonna say
that was kind of his cape.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they did that on purpose to make it kind of his cape because I don't think he ever took off.
Because that moment
not
where
when
he
he was in
superhero
mode.
His duty and he just like
he's at the train
in
station
the rain, and he just like puts his arms out.
So were they?
God, so
I never saw for sure, but I'm guessing since Bruce Willis was there at the end and that. They went through a similar train station before he turned into the Beast at the end of Split. So they were in Philadelphia because that's where the original one was. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
Like, are they in the same city? 'Cause I thought back on it, and the Beast
when he ran across.
Well, no, it was more the coolest thing about it was the Beast turned into the Beast in a train station, which is. Like the first time Bruce Willis ever discovered his powers was when he survived a train crash, and then when he accepted his powers was in the middle of the train station and holding his arms out, like using his spidey sense or whatever, like psychic powers to see what people have done.
You could be right. Maybe that's like a little tiny Easter egg that kind of.
Yeah, I didn't think about it.
Got overlooked.
I never thought about it until after, but it was like, so they both had a lot to do with trains. So what do you think? What do you think they're gonna do with Glass, which is officially the title of the third installment that will be coming out in 2019?
Well, I think that he kind of told us what's going to happen in Unbreakable. There's a scene in Unbreakable where Mr. Glass, Samuel Jackson's character's mother, is talking with. Is his name Kevin? Or no, Kevin is this guy from Split.
I think Daniel.
Daniel or David?
David. Yeah.
David, Bruce Willis's character. She's talking with him, and she says that in the comics, there's two types of villains. There's the soldier villain, and then there's the mastermind villain. Mm-hmm. And we now have both. And now I think that it's going to be a sense of we're going to be seeing Glass pulling strings from the inside of prison because I'm assuming he's in prison because I don't.
He's definitely in prison.
Find out. I think that trying to break him out of prison would be pretty difficult because he can't run, things like that. He's going to break all his bones in his body, but
the Beast could do it
and kill him. But I mean, neither here nor there. But I think that we're in for like a really fun fucking movie.
I'm
because
really
we're gonna
interested to
get
see because
great villains. Great villains. Like, when's the last time we had a great villain? Like a truly great villain.
I mean they took a whole movie to develop Kevin.
Yeah.
And that's James McAvoy's character.
Because that's
and it
one
just
thing
was
that
so good.
everybody says about the Marvel movies is that the villains are typically lacking.
Well, they've been developing Thanos for a decade now.
Yeah, one. He's
see
been
how
in
it
5
pays off
total
in 2
scenes over a
years.
decade.
No, but at
We'll
least-
see how that pays off after we see how this pays off. That's
Well,
how
I'm just saying,
off
it's
that
like
is.
if
Wait,
at least-
that releases next year, doesn't it?
Next year.
I'm just saying they've at least introduced them early enough that you've always kind of got you've never been able to forget Thanos.
I think he was only in one scene in person where it wasn't a cut scene, like at the end of the movie, or wasn't
In Guardians.
Yeah, in Guardians when he was talking to them. Well, I'm sure he'll show up in Guardians.
So
too.
I think he's been in a total of 3 scenes, including that one. 2
It's either 3 or
end
4, I
scenes,
think, isn't it?
2 end scenes, and then in the middle of Guardians.
He was technically in 2 scenes in Guardians because there was a second scene where he was talking to him over the video.
So yeah, 4. So you got Avengers 1, Avengers 2, and then Guardians.
Yeah,
It's
I
exciting.
think he'll end up like. I mean, Thanos isn't gonna die in one movie like all the other villains in Marvel. I think he'll be around for at least 2. So 2 big movies with the next Avengers as well. So maybe they'll actually take some time to develop him. Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts? Like, what do you guys agree with my thesis of how the
I agree.
sequel's gonna go?
I do agree, but I also am just interested to see how they even would know each other, how they even would come to know each other. I mean, if this guy's been in prison for almost 2 decades now, and like how would Kevin? If you'd have to think Kevin would be the one to initiate the contact, maybe, or maybe he had just had a way of tracking. I don't know.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, if people in a diner are able to make like comparisons between the characters, who's to say that
Well, I'm sure
one
he
of the
saw him
one
on
of
the
the people,
news,
yeah,
or Mr. Glass probably saw him on the news or something.
They might catch
Yeah.
him
And
too,
tracks
like
him
when
down.
he's not the Beast, and then he's maybe like they meet in prison or something like that, or if they're in a psych ward or something, and that's when they start communicating and realize this guy can change his body to what he wants to.
that would be a good one.
Because that's a
That'd be
big
cool way
thing.
to
Is
do
he-
it.
That's a good
because he's able
point.
to change his body to what he needs to. I mean, because he changed to was it Kevin or
Kevin was the actual
Kevin was the vessel,
actual
basically. He was
body, the actual person.
oh, okay, that's right. But you know, it's like, but he's
Dennis was
is
the like OCD
Because we got to
guy.
talk, like talking about all the personalities. James McAvoy's performance in that movie,
Oh man, that's some of the best acting I've seen.
fucking amazing.
yeah.
Oh man, when he was
You always knew when somebody was coming.
Yeah,
when he turned into Patricia was my favorite because like she was the creepiest character and he would just you could see it in his face like she looked like the like almost psychotic nun that just had like was so
Yeah, 'cause he even
faith
kind of like said when this like weird little hand thing, and
she had so much faith in her beliefs that she was willing to do whatever, like kill for her beliefs. She just like exuded that, and I hated that one.
yeah.
It's just such a cool idea the way they came up with that. Like you were saying, how they came up with giving this person superpowers. It almost made it seem like maybe it's a real thing. Like I know it's not
Yeah.
when they were
Yeah.
like when people had developed personalities.
I know. I
too.
was like, man, I didn't know that about this.
Like there was like one of
And
the
I was like, oh, okay,
like one of the examples was somebody like in different personalities, somebody was allergic to bee stings and the other wasn't.
I haven't done a lot of research on that, but if he took any of these wild stories and turned them into like a super villain, like Kevin, that's just awesome. The Beast,
Yeah.
especially the Beast. Oh man, I actually really like your theory. They're probably gonna end up catching him and throwing him into jail. Or not jail, but into a psych ward where Mr. Glass is, the mass murderer.
I don't think they'd be putting him in
And then
prison.
and then
they
he'll
don't have to
turn
worry
back.
about him breaking out.
Yeah, and then he'll turn back into the Beast while he's in prison and break out of that.
I think he'll be in like a white room, just psych ward all by himself, all alone, sitting in his little wheelchair, and they're gonna somehow meet in there.
One of my favorite ideas I had for this sequel was there's going to be a part where Bruce Willis can't really catch him because he thinks he's going to try and use that little power he has to like touch him and see what they've done wrong, and it'll be like Hedwig. That'll be the personality at that time. So he's like, oh, he's just a child. Or you might even see like images of him as he thinks he is as Hedwig, like images of an actual 9-year-old boy just being and seeing that, and he's like, what is going on here? Or even cooler, you remember how he described all his personalities as like sitting in a room together, just sitting on chairs, and then there was a light that one person could step into to take it. What if he sees the room? What if he sees that room with the light, and he sees all 23 personalities as their own distinct physical?
Talked about this.
You could see like a whole scene of these 23 people just like arguing and pissed off, or maybe some of them are dead because the beast gets rid of them.
Yeah, like by the time the movie comes back, or when we get that third installment, maybe by that point there is only like 3 or 4 personalities left, and the beast has killed them all off.
All the non-believers.
I just really hope that whoever is making the movie and giving the money just doesn't give him too much money, because M. Night Shyamalan has been known to shit the bed with like a big budget. Split was made with $9 million, and it made over $275 million.
Yeah, don't let him Michael Bay it.
Yeah.
Don't just give him unlimited money.
Yeah.
I think it could be in danger of that, because it's bringing back a lot of like when people realized it was an Unbreakable sequel, there was just a huge like uproar. Oh my God, are they making a 3? They got to make a 3, and everyone was just so excited about it.
Yeah.
It was hard to get away from the it was being spoiled like the day it came out.
Like no
people were like,
than
oh my
like
God, there's
30 million.
Shyamalan twist.
Luckily, I just heard that it was one of the best Shyamalan twists, and so like I didn't draw the connection, and I was so glad that it wasn't spoiled for me.
It was a little spoiled for me because they said there was a connection to Unbreakable, but I thought that was just gonna be like a nod to it. But when it was actually Bruce Willis at the end, it was and there was the whole thing about it being a sequel and him mentioning Mr. Glass. It was just that blew me away still, because I didn't know that it was actually a sequel. I just thought it was like a.
I feel like I wasn't.
Like,
the more I think about it, I feel like I wasn't actually super blown away. I think it took me like a good minute to be like, oh, that's what that is. Because it's literally, I think it's been probably 10 years since I've seen that movie.
Oh, the weird thing about it is I watched it, I want to say like a year ago. Like,
I watched it 3 months ago because I was just like was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I have not seen that movie in a while.
I've thought about it a lot because I've referred people to watch that movie. It's because it's a really good movie that almost gets looked over a lot because it's so old now.
Yeah,
but I've seen snippets of
up.
it because it's probably been on FX or TNT or something, and I've watched the beginning of it and then changed the channel or fell asleep for the end of it.
Yeah,
because I remember a lot of what happened in it. I know I wouldn't remember that vividly if it's been 10 years, but
anyway, yeah, that's our hopes for that. Nintendo news. They just this week announced that they're releasing a new 2DS XL, which is pretty cool looking handheld. I think
aesthetically probably the nicest looking one they've made so far.
Yeah, I think so too. And actually, like I've never owned I haven't owned a handheld since I was a kid.
That's a decent price.
Yeah,
that's
like
$149.
Yeah, $150. So it would be like, I mean, I think that these things are actually really cool, and they have a pretty large game library that is full of.
Well,
games
they have like
hit
after hit after hit.
Yeah, because I mean it's been this same style for a long time. They've just been like making it more capable to do more things, but still like keeping it backward capable. And so it's got a huge library. Like just think about it. If I get a Switch, I don't know if I'll get it, but if it's still as hard as it is to get a Switch now when this drops, then I might pick this up.
Well, I said before the show too. I've always really wanted a DS, but I don't want to buy it. Like I want somebody to give me one.
You should
like if I got one for Christmas or my birthday or something, sweet, I'm pumped about it. But I don't want to spend my own money on it.
Yeah, I think they're really cool these days too, because you get a lot more playability out of it, because they can do a lot more than they could when I mean I think the first handheld I ever owned was a Sega Game Gear.
Oh, the Game Gear. Woo! I think it was like that.
I had an awesome Power Rangers game on that I played like a million times. And then there was I
had a lot of Game Boys.
I owned a Game Boy Color for a little while and played a lot of Pokemon on that.
Yeah, I think the Game Boy Color was probably the last handheld I had.
I think I had an Advance, and then that was the last one that I ever had.
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those. Yeah, I mean, kids still love them, and it looks like from the marketing that they're advertising to like the like preteen
Like
to tween age more because I mean I've noticed living with my 10-year-old nephew that like kids he can even like watch TV on a full screen, but he'll be sitting there with his fucking Wii U thing watching TV here, or he'll be watching YouTube on his phone when there's a full TV there. And we even have the Google Chrome where you just have to hit the Chromecast button and it throws it up on the TV, and the kid will just sit there like this.
You know, I do that though because I'll be sitting at home and I'll watch a video on YouTube, and I could do the same thing, just cast my phone onto my TV. I'm like, but I'll just do that.
Yeah, I do.
I don't. I just hit the cast button.
Yeah, it's one button. That's why I bought a Google Chromecast.
I think it's because I don't want it to be on my TV. It's like I just want to watch this like 5-minute video and then go back to watch TV.
Yeah, but it's so great for people to watch our show and just cast it up onto their screen.
Well, yeah, in that sense, it'd make lots of sense.
Yeah, you can see our faces very vividly. Very.
But and you guys are so dumb. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's weird that the DS just kind of got randomly announced though. Like, what was it, like a Monday or Tuesday night at like 9 p.m. Nintendo? Hey, we have a
usually with these things, there's like a lot of speculation and build up to an actual announcement.
I feel like nobody actually knew except for Nintendo.
Yeah, not even like IGN, one of the biggest gaming networks on the internet. They were just like, well, so Nintendo announced some shit.
Yeah, because it was weird. I was looking at IGN and I'm like, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, what? Did anybody see this thing? Because I think you even noticed. I think you were like, no, when did they do that? It's like, I guess last night.
Yeah. But I mean, it's cool. It looks a lot better than the old ones. I'd say
it doesn't come out until July 28th. It's a really long.
Well, yeah, they got to build up a little bit of excitement for it now, which I think they have. I mean, and I think this is actually a great strategy for Nintendo.
It'll be a year and a half by the time Scorpio comes out.
Anyway, I was gonna say it's like I think this is a great move by Nintendo, because this kind of ties into what we were going to talk to you next about with Nintendo. Is this is going to be something that people can start buying now that Nintendo can start generating some revenue on and get out there, and then it's right before the holidays, and this is something people can purchase since the fucking Wii,
the Switch,
the Switch you can't buy it.
Yeah.
Yep, you can't.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying, the lack of availability. I think it was either. I think their big mistake was either underpricing it or just not realizing that how much in demand it would be. But it's kind of surprising to me that it's actually that hard to get right now, because like literally the only good game on it really right now is is Zelda. I mean, it's one of the games of the year for sure. But I mean, if I won't buy this thing until they have like
not no more
a decent library.
Not no more. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Baby.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just came out, but it's like months after the Switch has come out. So for months now,
a month and a half.
For like a month and a half, though, they've been sold out with one game to play.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because they just released this game, which didn't hinder any. The day of launch in America alone, they sold 460,000 copies in America alone. It's like, if that means that there's probably at least that many people who have a Wii, and maybe that came with a pre-order for people, or not a Wii, the Switch, and people pre-ordered it with the Switch. And I mean, it's how many more are they going to sell when more people have the Switch? Because if you had it, I guarantee you we would all pitch in money to go buy the Deluxe just so we can play it.
Yeah, for sure, I would. But I honestly just, it's surprising to me that it is that crazy in demand. It's either that crazy in demand, or they're just like that bad at manufacturing to their demand. And it seems like that's always been Nintendo's problem. Like when Wii's first came out, they were sold out the whole time. When Wii U came out, it was sold out the whole time. It was like so hard to just find. It's like, just fucking manufacture.
I really didn't think that this was an issue. Like I thought everybody, like, because I work with two people that have Switches, and so I thought that it wasn't a deal. And so
yeah, one of those people also pre-ordered it and had it the day of launch.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the other person didn't. And I thought I'd be able to just go in and pick one up, and I went into like a GameStop. I was like, yeah, I just want to get a Switch.
No, that hasn't been a thing. Like if you've ever read about it,
like they had everywhere had an initial push, and they never had anything coming after that.
Well, it's really stupid because like I saw them like send out like a bunch of promotional material saying Wii's coming soon, or not Wii's, Switch is coming. They're never gonna be able to shake that name. Switch is coming soon. And it like had Mario and Luigi like taping boxes up, and I was like, oh, so they're stocking up really well. But they just can't get them here fast enough. I mean, so much to the case that they normally ship them over by sea, but because they're sending them by air now, it is costing them $49 per unit.
Yeah, it's either it's somewhere between $40 and $50 every unit they sell. It's actually costing them because of
profitability, which is like probably not that big of a margin to begin with, but it's
or it could be because it's not a ridiculously powerful console. It's not. I mean, it's not what the PS Pro is or what the Scorpio may be. It's not the most ridiculous powerful console that anybody would ever expect from Nintendo. So it might not be that much of a loss. I mean, I'm sure it's a loss one way or the other. But.
I mean, they're definitely not losing money on it. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. I'm just saying that it's a loss to their profitability as opposed to like when they were shipping it over in other methods.
So I was thinking about this. What if Nintendo was doing this on purpose, like slowly rolling out some of the Switches just to make the fiscal year look good all year long, rather than having one really good quarter, they could have 2 good quarters.
Yeah,
I don't think they'd be doing that.
Honestly,
but
I don't think they are because they did the same thing with the Wii U.
I mean,
they didn't even one of the biggest most popular games on the Wii or since like Nintendo 64 has been Smash Brothers, and they didn't even come out with the Smash Brothers for the Wii U until like a year after it launched. It's like I think
which is exactly when I bought it.
Not
I didn't care about anything till Smash.
That's
Bros.
what I'm
came
saying.
out.
Like I'll buy a Switch in like a year when they have a new good Mario game to go along with Zelda and Smash Bros. Like that sounds a lot. And I'll buy like one of them that's
throw me
packaged
a
together.
Goddamn Mario Party game, please.
God, Mario Party.
Oh,
they can make
man.
such good Mario Party with the Switch. Like just seeing how the technology works. That
Especially
because
because you could probably connect like 10 of these controllers, like one of each of the Joy-Cons.
which are like $70 a piece.
Try 80, sir.
God damn. So
80.
so overpriced.
Well, I just want to say, like, they plan to sell 2 million systems in March, but they sold 2.74 million. I mean, they just got to be happy right now because, I mean, with all the negative press they were getting before this thing came out, which they were getting a lot. They were getting it from a lot of
we weren't particularly that positive about it either.
I'm going to be the first one to say it. I was like, I'm going to get it like in
I was
I'm
excited
going to get
for
it in
it,
the
but
holiday
not-
season when there's a Mario game. But then, like, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I really want to be able to like game at work, and I want to be able to do that. When I'm on the go, like I want that ability to be able to play the exact same game right here
that you play
that I'm
there.
playing.
Yeah, no, it's a very cool concept. It's just, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They like projected 2 million, they got 2.7. It's like no wonder they're out of stock everywhere, and maybe they should have like anticipated that more. And
or maybe that 2 million was the higher mark. Maybe they were actually thinking like 1.5 million or something. Thought
either
let's
way,
do 2 million.
Sounds to me like terrible forecasting, and that's on their execs.
But a lot of that forecast would have been based off of like surveying and kind of filling it out and seeing how people responded to any of the commercials that they had rolling beforehand or any kind of pre-release information. And I mean, they have professionals who get paid thousands and thousands of dollars a year to do this.
And they did the same shit with the Wii U, so obviously they're not that good at it.
Well, or they could, like I said, they could be. Maybe that was a gross estimate was 200. Like that was a gross overestimate was 2 million, and they just blew this out of the water what they expected. I mean, you never know where. I mean,
Yeah, because you don't want to.
I'm just
like
saying they've
put
definitely
all the money
repeated
into
a
making
mistake
things. I mean,
already.
yeah, it's definitely a repeated mistake.
Over
but
with the Wii and then the Wii U and now the Switch. They've
I didn't think this was an issue with the Wii U. I worked
I
at
don't
Best
think it
Buy at the
was either.
time, and it launched, and there was 2 people that bought it, and like we never like really ran out.
yeah, I don't think it was that big of an issue with the Wii U like it was with the original Wii because it was just
It wasn't
the same
as
shit.
big of an issue. The
But
Wii
that's
was
the
like,
point. And the
packaged.
thing that the Wii U and the Switch are really close in like looks and things like that. I think they were afraid of it kind of following that trend as opposed to following the previous trend that happened 5 years prior.
Because I had a
with
Wii
the
for a
Wii.
while, and I didn't buy a Wii U because it's like it's the same shit, just with its stupid gamepad that has 3 hours of battery life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Which the Wii U or which
Yeah.
God damn it, I still can't fucking do it. Which the Switch also still kind of has, which is kind of a letdown, but
Yeah, but it's also a way better screen, not that stupid like plastic screen.
the one looks like it's a play school toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
very
don't know.
cheap.
I definitely would love to get one, but it's going to be a year before I do.
You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait for Smash Bros. When are you gonna get one?
I don't know. I was thinking maybe around the holidays or Like, I don't know, like around New Year's or something like that.
The holidays when Scorpio is going to come out probably. So, I mean, they haven't announced that officially. And honestly, just a little side note, I think it'd be kind of a mistake for them to come out in November like they're projecting that the Scorpio will, because there's going to be a lot of great games that come out before November. And there's going to be, like, I think either they're going to miss a window where, like, there's these third-party games where people are, like, wanting to buy them now, and they can't because or they want to buy them now, so they're either going to buy them on their current console, but they want to play them on the best console, so that would be the Xbox Scorpio, whatever it's going to end up being called by then. But by the time like Destiny 2 and Red Dead and World War II, by the time all that comes out, someone could have dropped like two
coming out this year. I keep telling you that.
By the time it comes out, or all those games come out, it's going to be like an incredible like missed opportunity for them to get that third party crowd that's on the fence because they want to play it on the best, most powerful console. If they came out in September, we could play Destiny 2 on that, and that's what I really want.
Destiny 2, World War II.
But if it comes out in November, like they're projecting, that's 2 months that I either have to wait on Destiny 2.
You're kind of right. They might miss like that window of opportunity to really gather a lot of purchases early.
Like maybe.
But I mean, they're looking at the long game, I'm sure, but it's still kind of a bad missed opportunity. What?
Is it September that Destiny drops?
Yes, September.
There's like another game that drops
I think it's September 8th,
well.
Exactly. That's why I made that.
Yeah, so I think that you're right. Like I think the only way for them to really capitalize on like everything is if they launch a loader, which they could do. They could do as long as everything's running smoothly and the back.
Just feel like that'd be unlikely.
Like that.
Only a couple months after.
I mean, the only way I'd buy Destiny 2 at launch if the Scorpio wasn't out yet is if they said something like, if you buy it on Xbox One, you can download the Scorpio version on when you actually purchase that or something like that. Any Xbox,
but it's going to be the same game.
It'll be the same game, but it runs differently because it's running at like 4K and all that stuff. So like
the frames per second are higher too.
I don't know if it'll actually in the frame.
So is Xbox going back on their word that when they were saying that the games will go over directly or no?
Well, not saying that. I'm just more saying that, like, I don't know if there's...
Graphically, it's a better game on the Scorpio.
Basically, I'm saying if they actually, even though there is, like, interplay between all three of them, and there's not going to be any lag there, if you have to buy two different versions for the Xbox One and for the Xbox Scorpio, that's what I'm saying.
If they do it that way, they're gonna sink their fucking ship. There's no way that they're gonna
I'm sure it'll all be compatible. I just don't want to have to like buy two versions of one game.
Or they might do what they did when the Xbox One came out. I remember I had.
We just have no idea of knowing right now.
I remember I bought Madden and I bought a couple other games for my One or for my 360. And as long as you still had everything, you could just trade it in and they would swap you out for the Xbox One version of it.
Yeah, and they might do something like that. We won't know much about it until E3,
which is June.
June
1st,
I think it's 6 weeks away, or 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
June 10th. Yeah, we got Denver
because it's right after
coming
up. Yeah, it's right after the Comic-Con when we go to it here in Denver.
Yeah, that's my Scorpio side tangent. But yeah,
don't know how
Nintendo's doing some cool stuff though.
But yeah, Nintendo, it's impressed me, and the fact that everybody wants one made me want one. I guess. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to play Mario Kart. That's what it really comes down to. And I'm not mad about having an awesome open world game like. I
haven't seen any reviews on Mario Kart. Has it?
Oh, it's hitting like crazy.
Are the reviews good though?
Yeah, I mean, I can pull it up real fast.
There's been some stuff that said it's the best Mario Kart in the franchise.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's some high praise.
It's a high praise. No, I honestly, I mean, that it's hard to get Mario Kart wrong. They kind of nailed it, and have just been building on it for ever since. But I mean, some of them haven't.
I did not like Double Dash.
Double Dash did.
Yeah, that's true.
I was not a fan of that for sure.
9.3 IGN, Metacritic at 93%.
So
yeah. IGN always gives Nintendo games high praise, I feel like.
But Metacritic doesn't. Because Metacritic, it's like kind of like what's it called?
It's an amalgam of all the of all the reviews.
So 100, 100, 10, 10, 10. Oh, this cuck gave it a 90. But oh, there we go. Somebody giving it a 6. Unfortunately, all this game All this game has going for it are its graphics. Item distribution favors lesser placed racers, meaning someone holding a lead.
Every single
That's
game.
That's every time. Like, duh.
every Mario Kart.
Do you not know Mario Kart is
That's how it works.
It's been notorious for rubber banding.
The person in the last gets the best stuff so he can try and get back to first.
Alberic, if that's how you say your stupid ass name, you can fuck right off.
Yeah.
Post on April 29, 2017. You're an idiot.
Alberic, Metacritic. Dumb.
Idiots. If anybody knows this guy, tell him he's an idiot.
Unfortunately, this game plays like all the other games that everyone loved.
Why is this such a cartoony game?
It's a fucking cartoon.
Is that what he said?
No, I'm saying like he's saying like the most stupid shit. Like
Yeah.
that's something that he would say. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm either gonna buy one tomorrow because I'm gonna go to Blackhawk tomorrow after I get this all edited up. I'm gonna go to Blackhawk. If I walk out of there with more than $500 than I went in there with, I'm gonna buy one off of freaking Facebook or Craigslist for like a markup because it's I'm playing with the house's money.
Feel like it'd be kind of silly.
I mean, it's free money at that point.
Yeah, but you could use that money for the console itself plus a couple of games or some controllers.
Yeah, but then I
Or
have to wait.
he can do exactly what he wants to do because it's his goddamn money.
Yeah, good. It's just dumb way to spend your money.
All right, anything else on that?
No, that's it.
All right, cool.
Got some sports, got some movies, got some games. I think we just about covered all of it.
Running the gamut. All right, so I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today on JockStrap Nerd Chat. If you saw our previous video that we posted, we are still giving away that gift card. So, like us, share us, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere you can. And the more people we get, the closer we'll be getting to giving away that card. And
Which is 200 likes on Facebook and 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Yep.
So it's an easy way to make $50. Just go out there and share.
Yep. And we appreciate you all for joining us here. Anything else?
I think that's it, guys.
All right, cool.
I think that's a wrap.
All right. We'll see you next time on JockStrap Nerd Chat.
What was that?
The banner right there.
You hit the banner.
Yeah.
I shot a basketball.
And I started playing video games. I was like, I don't know what
that's
we're
how
doing.
it ends, right there.